guess it was plugged in.
Dwayne, you still there?
Yes, I am. What was your name again, sir?
Greg.
Greg, okay.
Anyway, I just want to say that, most of the failures in government, because, we have a good system here, obviously. It's the same system that was put in place originally. But the failures are usually people, and those people are put in office by people who vote,
Yeah.
obviously make mistakes. So
Yeah.
I think the answer might be if, they're not doing a good job, you vote for somebody else. We got a democracy, it's not going to be perfect, and, the government's not going to take care of your every need, and,
Well, our forefathers didn't fight and shed their blood for a democracy. It was a republic. And what's happening is the majority have turned this into a democracy where people, basically they're ignorant and they don't understand that individuals who don't consent still have a right over the majority. And that's
so
the fail.
You want to live in a republic, not a democracy?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that's your choice.
I mean, like our forefathers said, a democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting for what's for dinner. Why would I want that?
Well, what is a republic?
It's a well-armed lamb.
No.
It's
what is it? You need to go to the dictionary and find out what a republic is.
Yeah, you know what John Jay in John Jay in 1793, he said, at the revolution, sovereignty devolved on the people, and they are the sovereigns of the country. That to me is a republic where we are the sovereign and you work for us. I'm dealing right now with a city that doesn't want to answer any of my questions, and they want to usurp authority over me. I'm sorry, but that's not a just government. And if people can't recognize that, that isn't my problem.
Well, I hope you find answers to it. But,
I will. I know how it's going to end. The wicked cannot see their own destruction. And Hitler couldn't even see his own destruction, because I'm sure if he did, he wouldn't have done all those things that he did. And America is heading in that same direction.
Okay,
And
well, I think I've answered your question. And
another point I'd like to bring up is did he own the shotgun and sell the shotgun?
He bought shotguns at a local pawn shop, gun shop, and sat under a tree and cut barrels off.
Okay. And so it was his property?
Where he was sitting?
Well, I mean, he buys something, then it becomes his property.
Themselves. Yeah, he bought the guns, basically, cut the barrels off, and sold them to the undercover agent.
Okay, so it was his property, and I'm sure that if we own property, then we can do whatever we want with that property. Am I correct?
No, that's not correct.
No. So we don't own property?
If a vehicle, would it give you the right to drive it through a grocery store, killing people, just because you own it?
Well, I mean, I think that's a different scenario here.
Right.
I mean, that it has nothing to do with doing something to your own property, does it?
It wasn't the doing it to his own property, it was the selling it, but the problem was that it was an entrapment case.
So anyway, you can't...
I've got to go.
So you don't have a right to sell property from one person to the other?
What's this?
Well, I mean, if it's my property and I want to do whatever I want with my property, I mean, if we own it, don't we have a freedom to do whatever we want with what we own? Or is the truth that you own it? I mean, he had a right to saw.
We're obviously not free to do whatever we want with just anything, So
Oh, well, I mean, okay, I'm just trying to get this straight. Now, if
You
I
buy a
buy
dog doesn't mean
something,
you can abuse the dog.
if I buy something, is it mine to do with what I want to do with it?
As long as you're doing legal things with it, yes.
So it's not mine to do what I want.
It's not
Well, what
yours
you're
to do
saying-
just whatever you want. Correct?
Oh, really?
In my opinion, that's just my
Oh,
opinion.
okay.
So,
So then our forefathers died in vain then.
well,
I mean, didn't we have freedom? I mean, isn't that what law does, is encroach on people's property and rights? I mean, isn't that what governments tend to do?
yeah. Well, when you find the country that has the kind of freedom you're looking for, let me know. Because
Well, when did
otherwise
that law come into effect? You know, I mean, somewhere along the line, the law came into effect. I mean, it wasn't always that way. Somehow
passed
it.
the laws back when we formed as a country.
Oh, really? I don't even think we had sawed-off shotguns back then. So, I mean, at some point, you know,
Had
the
blunt-
government
blunderbuss
decided
everywhere.
to encroach on our freedoms and tell us what we could do with our property. I mean, if somebody can tell you what to do with your property, it's not yours. I mean,
Well, the government, even when we formed, you take Second Amendment and said a well-regulated militia, and the regulation was that you had to have a certain rifle, a certain amount of rounds ready, be ready to fight. That's government telling you to do something.
yeah,
Correct.
I'm not, I'm not fully understanding what you're saying. So they said that we could have a well-regulated militia, and they regulated how many guns you had and rounds and all that?
Yes, that's,
Oh,
that's
okay.
what it meant.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard that. I guess maybe I'll have to study that, and I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. I mean, I'm just trying to learn.
Yes, the word regulation means to regulate, to tell somebody to do something, and
A well-regulated militia?
Yeah.
Okay, so that
that means
word.
that, they get lists, just like, I don't know if you signed up for the draft when you became of age, but most of us did, and
Yeah.
that's part of the regulation. That's they used to keep handwritten lists of
Right.
people turning 18 years old, and
So well-regulated militia, it kind of sounds to me like, we got to.
there's certain things you got to do for your government.
Well, I mean, isn't the militia designed to keep the government within the bounds of the Constitution? I mean, that's after all what the Constitution was made for. Even our forefathers said that the Constitution is an instrument for the people to restrain the government, not the government to restrain the people.
Right, and it defines what our government is and who has what powers
Right.
and
Yeah.
separations of powers.
And a militia, well-regulated militia. And I think that was designed to keep the government within the bounds of the Constitution. Would you agree on that?
Originally, the militia we didn't have a standing army back then. We didn't have a
Right.
standing army until after the war.
Well, yeah, I mean, we probably couldn't afford it. Just like we can't afford it now, except for this fiat currency comes out of the expense of our children, which is
after the British
illegitimate.
burned the capital down, they decided they needed a standing army, so they started getting away from the militia
Yeah.
system.
All right.
It didn't perform well against the British.
All right, Greg. I know you have time. I know you have a job, and I know you have to work, and we could go off on these little subjects all day long.
Yes.
I think we can agree
Anyway,
on
it's been good
that.
talking to you.
All right, Greg.
Sitting here, we gotta go to work.
Yeah. Hey, if you don't mind, free men. Where do you guys get your information on that? Does the FBI try to educate you on us? Because I'm a free man. I mean, I'm not a bond man anymore.
No, I really have not a lot of information on the freemen. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you never had anybody try to educate you and give you some things to look at or be aware of concerning free
Not at the
men?
moment, no.
No?
It's not a big concern.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's just simply no law that says you have to have a birth certificate or a social security card, so you know.
That's fine. I'm going to retire in a few years, so I'm glad I have my Social Security card.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Well, I mean, that would be nice if it didn't come at the expense of all this homelessness and big government. You know, it'd be nice if that's all we
without
got.
Social Security,
But
believe me, there'd be a whole lot more homelessness. So
yeah. Well, I do know
why
that.
would-
I do
why
know
it's put
that.
in place.
Yeah, I do know that the Social Security card powers all the wars too, because they need your money, they need your labor to keep this system cranking. That's what the Social Security card is.
Okay. All right, Dwayne, gotta go.
Okay, thank
Good
you.
talking to you.
Okay, good talking with you.
Bye.
Bye bye.